Here's a quick update. Now, I didn't know this existed. You just said a woman tried to get apple juice past TSA and wound up being arrested. There's another guy that got arrested. His name is Armand Nair, and he was detained on Sunday and charged at Boston's Logan Airport because he was trying to carry a dangerous weapon onto a plane. It's a 10-inch long item called a vampire straw, and I had never heard of it before. It's a straw, 10 inches long, titanium, and at the end it's pointed. So you can use it as a defense mechanism, like a knife almost, or poking device if somebody comes at you. But it also works as a straw. And so he had it in his pocket and uses it. He says, I use it for self-defense, but he was trying to get on the plane with it and also caused an altercation with TSA and said, no, I want this. But I'd never heard of it called a vampire straw.
No. Back when, I can't remember the names of the actors a couple years back, we're taking the crusade about paper, plastic straws.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was. Maybe one of the dudes from Entourage.
Several people started taking that up. Yeah.
So Beth went out and bought reusable, washable straws. They're metal, but they're not pointed. They look just, they have the squared off ends.
So I think from that you get the vampire straw. So it's
you jab someone in the neck and drink it.
Yeah, that's why they call it that, the vampire straw. I'd never heard of anything.
It's
like
all
that.
for defense. Why else would you have it?
He drinks smoothies out of it.
Oh, get out of here!
He does. Yes.
What's he do? Put it on the ground and use it? How do you?
No.
It's 10 inches.
Yeah, it's 10 inches long. So you poke it into your smoothie. And,
and then you say to Smoothie King, no, thank you, I'll have one.
Right, and you already have your own, so you've got a reusable.
Travel with a straw.
So it works as two different things. It's a reusable straw. I have a machine here that will show us the picture, and I started typing in vampire, and there it is, vampire straw.
Yeah,
right there. It's a
What's the retail?
I don't know. That's a good question. This is let's see. I see the story about this guy.
He should have known TSA was going to let him on there.
Yeah, exactly. But he said he had it in his pocket, and he said I should be able to use this and that kind of thing.
Have you been to a restaurant where they give you a metal straw?
I have not.
No.
$14.81. $14.81. No, I have been to Disney where they give you a paper straw or one of those. It's almost like pasta. It gets sticky after a while.
Oh, those are the worst.
I don't like those.
I don't like
stupid.
Like a pasta straw?
Yeah, it feels like. I know what you mean. They start to get sticky.
It's like glue or something.
Paper straws. We just hoodwinked by all that.
You were against
I think the plastic people have won.
At the beginning, you were upset, but you said there's no point in doing that.
No, every company did it because it was cheap and easy to get rid of the plastic straw.
Yeah, and you said this is it's not really doing anything for. But now, a lot of straws probably wind up in the ocean and wind up in rivers and streams.
Yeah, but when's the last time you went in the ocean and got nailed by a bunch of straws?
Well,
you're not under oath, Kelly. You don't have to answer that.
I'm not going to answer that question.
So he's trying to get you. That's how they get you.
The older I get, the more I just look at what's in front of me. And, when's
it gets smaller and smaller.
Yeah. When's the last time you were in a river and you were like, I can't go down the river because all these GD straws.
All right, I guess that's fair
but
enough.
You do, Biggie. You have young nieces who live in Florida. Kelly's got teenagers.
That's right.
Do you think about them?
I think they're going to be fine too.
You think, but isn't there a mound of garbage the size of Texas in the middle of the Pacific?
I'm looking at what's in front of me. Yeah,
that ain't much.
Yeah. That stay in the hospital did a lot for me.
Yeah.
And it really made me stop caring about other things.
The environment.
I'm looking at what's in front of me.
You don't care those kinds of things.
Three rooms and a parking lot.
Okay, David. Now, here's the heroes and zeros here, and this has to do a little bit with your hospital stay. Biggie's down a chamber.
That's not true.
That's what people have been saying.
You always make it sound worse than it really is.
You're right. It's not as bad as it seems, but Biggie does have heart issues that he's recently gotten on a low-sodium diet for.
Yeah.
Dave and I took a CPR class that was offered here at the radio station. The timing of it was purely coincidence. Biggie was out of the hospital 4 weeks, and then here comes...
We've got to get CPR training.
Yeah.
For everybody.
Some things just line up like that. The stars align.
Some hockey players are being called heroes today. A 62-year-old man named Drew Lazarus, who's goalie for an over 50 New York State hockey team. They play in a league, and he is 62 years old. He's their goalie. They play 3 times a week. He was leaving after a game 3 weeks ago from Westchester Skating Academy, And as he got into his car and started pulling out of the parking lot, his car suddenly, and the other players who were leaving also, started to veer off track and hit another car. So they went over to him. He had had a cardiac arrest inside the car.
Yeah.
Car door was locked. The players used their sticks to bust the window, unlock the car, get him out onto the pavement. One of them knew CPR, brought him back to life. He was not breathing and had no pulse.
You're telling me
They did CPR.
they brought Lazarus back to life.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Arise.
Yes.
Why do you seek him here?
Yes.
He's not here.
And now, since then, he was in the hospital for a week after the cardiac arrest. He's out of the hospital. Doctors say he can go back to playing hockey in another month or so. He's working on that.
Good thing they had hockey sticks to break open the window. Couldn't have done that at your pickleball court.
I would have tried, by God. I would have tried really hard.
Take a lot of strikes
with my paddle.
It's going to hurt.
Actually, if somebody had said, can you break the windshield with your paddle, I probably would have said, this is new.
This is a very expensive new paddle.
I just got it.
It's snap in half, I bet.
I only had it for like 3 weeks,
I
3
can
months.
I can use a shoe, maybe.
Yeah, I've got an old paddle somewhere in my bag.
hang on.
Looking through my bag, you know.
Clock's ticking.
I think that I would not be shocked if one of my cousins is part of this league.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah,
Really?
because he's roughly my age.
No kidding.
Plays hockey in Westchester.
Over 50 league. Well, here's one of the players, and he said since this has happened, a lot of them they're getting CPR training, and they've all gone themselves to the doctor.
10 guys have gone to the cardiologist, and we are really promoting a lot of things that I think guys in over 50 leagues should be doing to be healthy and to be careful, because this, I would never thought it would have been him.
I'll tell you this, the guy who taught our CPR class for Dave and me and some others, he gave his age, and it's right around Dave's age and my age.
Yeah.
And he said, we're right in the prime target zone. He's like, we're right in the sweet spot for having a cardiac arrest, which really was like, eesh. That hurt. That. I was like, oh, my goodness. I mean, we are. Made you think of that. Dr. Ed's on the line to talk about CPR in that class. Dr. Ed, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just calling to thank you guys for getting that class. I've mentioned it to you a couple times prior, and I really think it's a great thing you've done. You probably will use this at some point. I certainly have out in the public.
It's a little scary to think that you certainly could use it.
Yeah, but you just go into automatic mode, and that's what the training is for. You go, oh, this is what I got to do.
I would sure recommend it to anybody. I learned a lot. It took 3 hours, and I'm so glad that I did that. You know,
great. It's remembering it is the remembering the.
But you got to
procedures.
What he told us is do something.
Yeah, you can't. You got to do something better than nothing.
Thank you, Dr. Ed. Really appreciate that phone call.
Are we getting the defib machines?
Yeah, we are.
Yep.
They're on order, as well as.
Is that why the cable guys were here the other day?
Yeah,
yes.
They're getting the defib machine, and they're getting razors to shave the chest too.
Yeah.
For those of us who are, if I skip a few waxings, then my chest might have some chest hair.
For the gorillas in the building.
That's right. We need to shave
the bears.
Shave a little bit.
Right.
That's right.
Man, and think about this: the irony of that you are in the prime age range for it to be used.
Yep.
The irony that if one of you goes down, and I can't do anything because I wasn't on the email.
You weren't on the email.
But everyone assumes it's for me.
Right. And then what would happen?
I'll be like that meme of the kid doing the side eye.
Yeah.
Could happen.
That's exactly right.
I could be the one that falls out right here.
Never know. And of course it could. Of course you could.
Get down on your knees, Biggie. Start pumping.
We have some zeros here today. Little League parents in New Jersey, and the league has taken an unusual step. What they're doing now, of course you know how Little League baseball and soccer and football go. The parents oftentimes will get too involved, start yelling at the umpires. They've gotten to the point in this league where the guy who runs the league said, we can't keep umpires because so many people are yelling at them all the time. So what they're doing now is if you yell at the umpire to the point where they think they have to take action, you have to umpire 3 games yourself before you can come back to the game.
Good.
Do
they get paid?
Yeah.
The umps at these things?
No, they're volunteers.
They're
volunteers.
They're voluntary. And that's what the guy in charge of the league says. Look, these guys are volunteering. The kids are just kids. They're not professional baseball players. Let's grow up.
They're coming here. They're being abused. They don't need that, so they're walking away. You're not allowed to come onto our complex until you complete 3 umpire assignments. Once you do that, then we'll let you come back.
If the parents are going to be sitting there yelling the whole entire game, they might as well use that energy like out on the field.
So that's what they've done. Now they're just starting the baseball league. That's where it's starting up, and they're going to do it in that city in New Jersey. apparently with soccer and football too. Because they've had it happen so many times.
It's going to be hard to enforce it on a hothead.
Right. Well, they're going to ban him from the park unless he does 3 games.
I think it's great.
Well, when my son played in basketball, in Upward League basketball, the parents were the umpires, were the referees. You had to volunteer to do a couple of games to understand what it's like to do it. So that's when I had that unfortunate issue with the whistle. I kept the whistle was in my mouth.
You were breathing.
And I was breathing heavy running up and down the court, so you'd get...
Kids thought they heard a whistle.
And they stopped play.
Oftentimes, many times.
How many fouls are you going to call, ref?
No foul.
I'm not calling anything.
Why's everybody stopping?
They just stopped because
Thought I heard a whistle.
Well, you did. It's in my mouth. But my breathing was so heavy, These are some of the kids who have said they've seen the same type thing in soccer and football, and they're happy about it, too.
If one kid, is shoving too hard or whatever, parents get really aggressive.
It's bad sportsmanship, but it also, a lot of times teachers like winning is everything rather than like playing hard, competing.
There you are. So they're seeing bad sportsmanship, and this is what they're doing. The guy,
That's good if they can enforce it.
Right. The guy who runs the league says he's just sick of it.
They think that the call was bad, which always amazes me that they can see a strike better over there than the umpire can right there, 1 foot in back of them.
Yeah, right. There's no way you can.
But now you've got 15 umpires in the stands.
Oh, well, yeah, then they've done that.
Now they're going to sit there and say, look,
true.
I took the same class you took, brother.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the idea, of course, is you get on the other end of it and you realize how hard a job it is to do it.
And I don't think people are going to shut their mouths in the stands, are they? Just because of
That's
that?
the goal. That's the goal. Who knows?
I feel like it would help a little bit just because once you really do have to get out there and do it, you might think twice. But at the same time, the way people are now, who knows?
I mean, the average baseball parent may not know. I mean, there's a lot of rules in baseball, even Little League.
Right.
Now, they're not going to be the head umpire.
Correct. They will have an umpire who knows the rules on the field at all times, who's like the certified umpire. They might have an umpiring first base or something.
Yeah.
But even still, you're right. There's a lot of rules that go along with it. So they'll give them a quick training, and then they'll wind up having to do it. The hero today is a 7th grader who took the wheel of a bus when his bus driver had a cardiac event. Sort of a theme going here today. This took place last Wednesday at Warren School. This is in New Jersey. And Facebook parents put on Facebook that young Dylan, a quick-thinking 7th grader, saw the driver in distress, stepped to the front of the bus, stopped the bus, put it in out of gear so they could stop it, and then called 911 on his phone. When authorities got there, they were able to do CPR on the guy, and he was having a mild cardiac event. They sent him off to the hospital. So the bus driver's going to be okay. But the 7th grader was able to get to the wheel of the bus, and the parents were like, we have no idea where that came from. We didn't teach him anything like that.
A hero.
He's 7th grade, so he's a hero here today.
Could your daughter do that? She's 1 year older.
I'm not sure if she could do that or not. Now, she's driven a little bit. We've had her driving in the neighborhood a little because she's taking driver's ed this summer.
That's right.
It's about that time to take driver's ed this summer.
How's she doing?
She's a little herky-jerky, a little bit. She almost ran over the mailbox one day, but since then, I think she's calmed down. I think she's calmed down.
And Daddy's going to do this with her? Or?
Well, that hasn't been discussed yet. Now, I did it with my son. I did all the driving with him, and my wife still will not ride with him, period. She's never ridden with him.
I bet she won't ride with your daughter either.
Probably not.
No, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't think she would. I think I'm going to be the guy that winds up volunteering to do that.
It'd be interesting to know because when I was younger, there were no rules about kid seats or anything like that, and no rules about seat belts. And I wonder if, because we got to, if it was just me and my mom or me and my dad, we sat in the front seat. So I wonder, we watched more.
Yeah.
You
can see more.
Yeah.
And kids nowadays are watching a movie, watching their phones. They're in the back seat. They don't see any of how the car works.
Totally right.
Yep.
And there's no question.
It's just transport.
Plus, I used to hear a lot of kids would say, well, you knew how to drive because I used to drive the riding lawnmower or the go-kart or whatever. My kids have done none of that. So we started from scratch with my son, and we'll be with my daughter as well. And I'm shocked that she's coming right up here on driver's ed.
Take her to a big parking lot on a Sunday afternoon and let her drive around.
Yeah, we're getting ready to do that as well. And she has driven a little bit around the neighborhood and has done okay. Here's some zeros here today. The staff of American Airlines, 2 elderly passengers have been removed from an American Airlines flight from Palm Springs to Dallas-Fort Worth. They were going from Palm Springs to Dallas, and there was a layover, and then they were going on to Tampa. And what happened is they had a cello that they wanted to fly. with them. They bought a seat for the cello. And when they came onto the flight in Palm Springs, they were allowed to strap it into the seat next to them. Yeah. But when they got to Dallas after the layover, the Dallas flight said, you have to store this underneath the plane. And they said, we bought a seat for it. And they said, sorry, our rules prohibit you from doing that. Even though on the first leg out, they had been allowed to put it in.
Same airline.
Same airline.
No.
Yeah, I had the same sort of issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you
not with the cello. I don't play.
No, right.
But,
right.
On one of the trips we were returning from Europe, there were 2 seats on the plane, and I had one, and the one next to me was vacant.
Mm-hmm.
And so I put my backpack there and strapped it in.
Yeah.
And the flight attendant said, "That's cool."
Yeah.
And then another flight attendant came along right before takeoff and said, "You can't do that. You can't even strap in."
On the very same flight.
Very same flight. Yeah, the first flight attendant said, "That's cool. Just strap it in there."
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess whoever's in charge said that's not allowed.
Yeah, that's what they told. For one flight, they were fine with it. For the next flight, they were not. Mm-hmm. Same airline. When the airline, they reached out to American Airlines, and so far have not heard back, except to say the safety of our passengers is of utmost importance. It's paramount to American Airlines.
Cellos can be replaced.
Yes. And by the way, they did store the cello under the plane, and it got there just fine.
Yeah, that's a risk, though.
But it was those
are thousands and thousands of dollars.
A very nice cello. And
but they fly through the air all the time, right? Musical instruments. They're probably over our heads right now.
I guess so, but I mean,
there have been. Remember, one guy made a parody song about United
guitar.
His United breaks guitars.
Yeah, but there are tons of guitars that travel.
There are, but some people are just more.
That was he had this really nice guitar. Again, they made him check it, and then that one did get destroyed. I'm sure many.
Yeah, he watched it from the window.
Right. He watched.
Especially if you've got to get off the plane and go to a gig.
Yeah.
Or a concert or whatever you've got to do.
Crap out of that guitar.
Yeah, I mean you're stuck.
A hero today, or a would-be hero from the Bronx. He was trying to corral an escaped peacock. This story, by the way, is still going on. As of midnight, a peacock had escaped the Bronx Zoo. They nicknamed him Raoul, and he had climbed up into a tree near the zoo, or in a neighborhood close to the zoo, 180th Street in New York. Neighbors named the escaped peacock Raoul, and one tried desperately to corral the peacock to get it back to the zoo.
How'd that go?
Not well. This is his friend explaining what happened to Mike, the would-be hero.
He tried to trap it off in somebody's parking lot and somebody's parking garage up the block. Raul wasn't having it. Raul flew over the parking lot gate, started coming down here. He started chasing him over here. And then I guess he got too close to, Mike got too close to Raul. Raul took a peck at him. He flew up in this tree first, on this side, got tangled up, and he flew from there to over here. And Raul been over there. Raul Pedro Nabaja been over here for the past 3 hours now.
It's drawing quite a crowd now. The peacock, as far as we know, is still up in a tree, high up in a tree, near the Bronx Zoo in a neighborhood in New York City after Mike got pecked in the leg trying to corral him and get him back there. That was Mike's friend telling the story there. The last word was, it is not clear how the zoo plans to get that peacock back. They're staring up at him right now.
What you can do. Go look for it over at the NBC building.
Yeah. There's nothing. Come on, Raul. The peacock is just looking down at them right now.
You could play horny peacock female sound.
That's the only thing you could do.
Peahen.
Is it mating season for the peacock and peahen?
Oh, like I don't know what you're doing.